Hey guys, so today I hope to help you get some sort of sound or note on the Quena. So it's an instrument with one hole on the back for your thumb and 6 on the front. Now there's not a lot of tutorials in English for this instrument, and it can be fairly hard to learn. It is quite a hard instrument. I remember when I first received mine, I had expectations and I thought, I'm going to be able to play all the songs that I want to play with ease. And it's going to be sort of as easy to get a note on as a Native American flute, which sort of does the work for you in terms of the way that the sound sort of comes through. I mean, it's a normal hole, and then this fetish here sort of does the flute part for you, as in splitting the air. Whereas with the Quena, you have to do it all with your mouth, sort of like a Western flute, with that little notch there. So I had all these expectations, and I got it out of the box, and I couldn't get anything but air, the sound of air hitting wood. And it was quite discouraging because, you think you're going to be a master, and then you get slapped on the bum because you can't make a sound from it. So it can be quite intimidating at first. But after, maybe as soon as 10 minutes, you might get some sort of tone from it. And it might just be very windy and sort of airy. But you will get some sort of tone on it. And from there you can experiment with the position and the position of your mouth too. So at first you might even start going like, you still get a sound, but it's not a clean sound, and it's often the wrong note, and it's all off. So the easiest way to explain the positioning of the mouth is like if you've ever played from a half full bottle, like a glass bottle or something like that, and you've just gotten the sound from it. I'm sure we've all done that before. It's that sort of thing. So you've probably always heard of smiling. Same sort of principle as the Western flute, but slightly different position. But the easiest way is smile, big smile. So it makes you very happy to play too because you're constantly smiling. So big smile, and then you want to close your lips in a way. So when you're smiling, big gap, you can see all your teeth. You just want to close your lips in, so smile and then close. And sort of puff out, not puff with air, but put pressure on sort of where your wisdoms are, sort of, where they came out, back here. And that's probably the best advice I can give to sort of get the right direction of the mouth position. Then you can play around with it. Everyone's mouth is different, and you're all going to have to do a different motion to get the right sound. So from just blowing like this, smile, bring the lips in and pressure back here, like that. Almost like a woo. And then you get a lot cleaner sound. You can also play with position of it though. Because of this hole at the back, you can see straight through it, and the notch is up the top. You actually have to block that off with your chin. So that positioning helps flatten your chin as well, which then helps block that hole. And then you can play with position on what works best, and the air hitting the notch, and what coverage of this big hole at the back works for you. And you'll find that makes a difference to the pitch too. You found that here it's a lot higher, here it gets a bit lower. And that can be with the pressure too. The pressure will change it as well. But it's a combination of the amount of air, the the pressure, so the tightness of your mouth, and sort of where it's hitting, so the direction of it too. And when you play with all that, you'll get something that will work, and then you try and replicate that. You might get it again, and from there you just keep on trying over and over again. And after even as little as a day or two, you might be able to just pick it up. Remind yourself of where these two bits of wood here at the top of the notch, where that's hitting your lip. That's a good memory spot. Sort of feels like a snake's biting your lip or something like that. Not as painful, but feels like two fangs. And if you memorize where that's sitting on your lip when you get a nice sound, that helps a lot to sort of replicate it every time. So for me, it's right there. So it's not at the very top, but almost. And if I know that if it's hitting there and it feels right, that's what's going to make the sound. So that's the basics of sort of mouth positioning, and even just getting a tone on it. Different pressures are used for different notes too. So at the start, pick one note. I find the easiest is just take your bottom finger off, thumb on, and play right there. It's a very soft, loose, hot air sort of blow. It's not if you're trying to cool something, like if you put your hand out and want to blow cool air, very tight and a bit more pressure. If you want to just blow hot air, your mouth is fairly open and loose. So you still keep that position, but your lips are just a lot looser. If you bring them tighter, like you're blowing cold air to cool something, you start getting the second octave, which is a bit more complex. And that gives people a lot of trouble. It gave me a lot of trouble getting that second octave, and you can get quite frustrated. So I would say don't worry about that for now. Even though some of the Andean music that you might want to play is in that second octave, you can still play nice music in that first octave there. And the goal at the start anyway isn't to play music as such, but to get the sound and tone and note out of it. But you can play around with something simple. Thumb on. And even if you practice stuff like that, it's good to learn anyway, because you know the combinations or how to get from one note to another. Even if you're not necessarily going to use it as such, you get that muscle memory in there anyway, so you know how to quickly hit a certain note. So that works. I mean, you can play absolutely anything. Might not be musically correct, but you're getting that practice of going up and down the notes and just the feel of the spacing and everything like that. It's a weirdly spaced instrument, because you can probably tell the note, the holes aren't evenly spaced, and that's to get the right tuning of it, with the length of it and everything like that, and the size of the holes. You can see they're different sizes too. Same size, small, same size, small. And that's to get the tuning too. They're mostly tuned in G, which is what you want to play all the Andean music. That's all mainly done in G. For the Quena anyway, you can get differently tuned ones, but to play all the sort of more traditional or well-known music, it's in G anyway. So even in the first octave, you can still play parts of some nice Andean music. There is some stuff that you can play all in the lower octave, but There's one song, I don't know how to pronounce it, Indio Irlandes. Can't speak Spanish, but I'll put a link in the description, or even the title of the song. You can look it up on Spotify or YouTube. But you can still play some nice music. So even something like and yeah, my advice is don't take it to the second octave until you've got some stuff down in the first octave, pretty concrete, solid. If you want to know the brand of this one, you can't read it because it's backwards. But I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Quaury. So Quauary, from Peru. And I mean, it is hard to find one that you know is going to be good quality, because it does make a difference. It's always good to have a better quality to start with, because if you're trying to learn on a shit Quena, then you might be getting very frustrated and think you're doing all the right things, but because it's a crap instrument, it's not sounding right, and you're getting frustrated again. So start off with a good one, spend a bit of money, spend 100 plus. Usually some good ones are going from 120 to 170. And have a look around a bit and find something nice. But yeah, that pretty much concludes it for this video. I might go into second octave for the next video and how to sort of get there. You can get up to a third octave, but it can be quite difficult. So first octave first, get a note, start playing around with the first octave, maybe play the same songs in the second octave when you get to that, and then you can sort of move on from there. But that's a little intro on it, and positioning in your mouth, and how to get your first tones. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for a second video. Cheers.